Good afternoon, Suidlanders, and welcome. Firstly, I apologize for the long absence. I should perhaps quickly explain that at the beginning of January, I read, heard about, watched, listened to a number of stories that I found extremely difficult to digest. Just to illustrate the point to you, Donald Trump announcing the $550 billion AI initiative. And those of you who follow Whitney Webb, the very famous analyst, will know that that's brain chipping. End of story. And other chips. And as much as I'm not always a Donald Trump fanboy, I couldn't believe that that was the first thing he announced, or it was one of the first things that he announced, certainly on his first full day at work. It was the biggest thing. I'll give you another example. Some of you will have seen the Alex Jones, The InfoWars by Greg Reese, the Reese Report video and report, and there was another one done by somebody else too, about the Chinese laser satellites having been the cause of the fires on the island of Maui in Hawaii and in California, much more recently near Los Angeles, in the Pacific Palisades, as they call that area. And I found myself, there were 9 other stories that came out over the past 6 weeks that absolutely shook me to my core. And as I explained to Mr. Miller, I wasn't able to just talk about this stuff as if it was another day at the office. It was impossible for me. They challenged my fundamental beliefs of the work that I'm doing in this cause. Not of the cause, but the example I gave Mr. Miller was, let's say I, as a Christian, was somewhere and the Buddha came down. And he managed to convince me that he, the Buddha, he had all the answers. We should all be Buddhists. That would rock me to my core. And it might take me days, weeks, or months to get over it. It took me a very, very long time to get over these incredible and huge acts of treachery for the Chinese laser satellites to have caused those fires, as Greg Reese demonstrated. For instance, they would have had to have worked with the US government. There's no other way that they could have done it. So I was left with this, having to confront this knowledge that it's not USA versus China, that they're one and the same, and they're collaborating. And if they go to war in Taiwan, I would be completely mistaken to talk about one side or the other. Anyway, that explains my absence. But happily, I'm back on a much brighter note. I want to tell you about a new initiative. You can see the sign behind me that we've put up. You can't see the rest of the studio that the guys from Radio Groot Rivier have built for me, and which we will use in the fullness of time. Right now I'm using my telephone because we had a little catastrophe, but we will start using the nice microphone on its fancy stand, and we'll be getting in some better lighting. All sorts of things will be ironed out, but fundamentally we've had a great upgrade and we've got good things to tell you. We've decided to take Radio Groot Rivier to the next level. So we've decided to devote those resources to doing even more content, more edited and produced content, more video content, more high views content. We've decided that Mr. Miller and I are going to do a little series of interviews together. We'll do them over Zoom, I presume, and record them like that. We've decided that I will do a series to do with the Ukraine war, which I think you will find very exciting. We're going to be doing some overseas filming, and by the way, and I can tell you this won't be for the last time, I'd like to thank the sponsor of that overseas project, the filming that we'll be doing. We're going to be doing lots and lots and lots of stuff. Those of you who know Marius from Radio Groot Rivier, Marius will be doing some of his own content, and it's really a very, very bright day. The guys just left. Today is Wednesday. They left the day before yesterday. Mr. Miller was here too. Nico Engelbrecht, although he's not directly involved, he was here to see what was cooking, and I'm very glad that he was. He's a good man to have around. Those of you who are radio boffins will know that. And that's really the gist of the video, just to explain my absence and to announce that there are good things coming. And I'll be back with the week in review on Friday. You'll see from this picture that I haven't yet mastered the telephone's angle and its balance and what have you. But hopefully it won't be too much of a pain in the neck, and hopefully even I, with my very limited, notoriously limited technical skills, will be able to fathom the best plan. And maybe with time, as I say, we'll be using better microphones, better lighting, better cameras, and everything will go on and on. I've got a second studio about 4 meters away from me that we're going to build. It just gives options. And for those of you who know about my stoep, glorious stoep that I have that looks out on the majestic Bamboesberge of the Eastern Cape, we'll be using that too, hopefully. So that's the long and the short of it, ladies and gentlemen, Suidlanders. We hope that you're doing well. We are doing well. I had conversations with 2 of my 3 sons today, and they ended up becoming long conversations. And the topic that came up the most, in fact, it was a topic that was inspired by somebody else, something else, not me or one of my sons, but we got onto that subject, and then so the conversation progressed, was health. It's the past 7 months down here, drinking this fantastically clean water, breathing this fantastically clean air, eating this completely unadulterated mutton for breakfast, lunch, and supper. I'm in the fortunate position that I can do some bartering for slaughter ewes. And when you get meat for free, well, you eat it, don't you? Staying off the starches has been terrific for my health. So, yeah, everything is good. Today is a good day, and you shouldn't worry about our absence of the past 6. It may by now be 7, but I believe 6 weeks. It was just that I had a bit of a wobbly, as some people call it. It certainly wasn't a nervous breakdown, but it was enough to absolutely arrest me, to stop me dead in my tracks, and to force me to spend weeks thinking about what we know and what we understand of who is the goodie and who is the baddie. And as I said to you, there were 11 items, 11 events of the past 6 weeks that shook me to my core, that shook me to my foundations, that absolutely horrified me. And I will go through them with you in the next few weeks. We'll make lots of reports on all of those strange happenings that cause one to wonder about who's who and what's what. Who are the goodies and who are the baddies anymore? Or are there no goodies and no baddies? Is it just them, whatever they may be? I'll end by saying this. Those of you who are on my WhatsApp groups, will have seen that I've remained very industrious, apart from some interruptions, where, for instance, I had guests for 5 days, and I just had too much on my hands to keep up with everything. But you'll have seen that we've been in the saddle the whole time. We've been very industrious with that work. We know what's cooking, and as I say, we're looking very much to reporting it to you. If anybody's interested, there's a Health Ranger report. Anybody know Brighteon, Mike Adams? The Health Ranger report, very interesting guy, fantastic, arguably the best in the world in what he does, which is blending lots of subjects together, drawing connections between, let's say, UFOs and the Trump administration and food and something that happened in the 1970s, so on and so on. Building integrated narratives. If you like, go and look at his most recent video. I don't say that it's all true, and I don't even say that it's all sane, but I do say, if you'd like to know more about all of these curious events that have had me absolutely gobsmacked, not sure what to believe and what to think anymore, well, then go and watch his video. It's 2 hours and something long, covers a lot of ground, and it'll leave your head absolutely spinning. Anyway, enough from me. Thank you very much, everybody. We're glad to be back, and we look forward to being in constant communication, whether from here in South Africa or overseas, for the rest of what promises to be an absolutely thrilling, and perhaps not in a good way, thrilling year. Goodbye, and God bless all of you. Bye-bye.